Hello, Dr. Ed, the healing vet. It's fantastic to meet and chat with you today. I thank you very much for making the time to meet with us, and welcome to you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Very good. I love the title, The Healing Vet. Healing is a magnificent path forward versus prescriptions nowadays, surely. What's your thoughts on that one? What's behind the healing vet?
Well, the healing vet's kind of one of my main brands, which is my integrated veterinary work and educating people about holistic health for animals. And the other brand I have is Whole Energy Body Balance, which is a body work and energy work modality for working with pets and people and horses. So yeah, my whole life is dedicated to finding the most natural possible way to help animals and people transform their lives for the better, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or whatever. There is a place for prescription medication. If you get a raging acute bacterial infection, I think then antibiotics are going to be your best friend, but they're certainly never my first port of call.
Interesting. That's very nice to hear nowadays, because we see the way the pharmaceuticals and things are going. Obviously, this is the first time that we've had a chat, so I acknowledge some of the great information I also see on your website there. Highly skilled neurofacial body worker and high vibration energy worker, experienced clinician, holistic practitioner, a combination of natural, complementary, alternative, conventional medicine and treatments. So I see where you're going. It's not the sort of list that you see very often at a veterinary clinic. Maybe I just wonder if you'd like to take a few minutes to explain your journey to this point, education, how you got there, and those sort of where you're at with healing animals.
Yeah, well, I grew up with animals. I grew up on a cattle property in North Queensland. The way animals were treated wasn't fantastic. When I was in my teens, I came across a book called The Man Who Listens to Horses by Monty Roberts, and that's where I started to realise that, oh wow, we can actually learn how to communicate with animals in their language, so to speak, and form relationships so they really want to work with us, so we don't have to make them do things. I think that was a big turning point. I started working hands-on with animals when I was about 1.5 years out of vet school after leaving my first job, which was horrible, and I hated being a vet for a while there after that job. Met another vet who worked with horses' necks, and he'd take horses that had a forelimb lameness they couldn't find a reason for, with x-rays, nerve blocks, all that sort of thing. He'd release their necks and the lameness would go away. So I started exploring working hands-on with dogs and cats, finding neck and back pain and working out how to help them with therapeutic touch. Then a few years later, I got chronic fatigue syndrome, became really thoroughly unwell, couldn't work for a couple of years. Western medicine helped a little bit in the beginning and very rapidly ran out of answers. So I explored a whole broad range of more holistic, complementary, alternative approaches for my health, including that's when I got into the more energy healing, that sort of thing. And when it worked for me, I tried it on the animals. Turns out it works really well for them too.
Interesting. Yeah, so I have, even in our family, we've had fibromyalgia and issues as such, which sort of, I think, is related to the water a little bit, actually, like the chlorine, etc.
Can be.
Right. As we're a water filtration business here, for us to play our best part in healing animals from our side, I'd be expecting it's in the water filtration arena, creating the best water that we can for animals. Like you talk about water for pets on your website, and I hear you talking about that now. What's your best message to pet owners to give them some direction moving forward with pet water filtration?
Well, I think it's pretty easy for anyone, even if you're in a rental, to get a benchtop filtration system that will, pull not only pull the chlorine out, which is a toxin which, upsets your microbiome in your gut. They didn't use it in the water to kill people for no reason, right? Chlorine's a very, very toxic reactive substance. And filtering out the kind of muck and the dirt that even in our town water, which is really clean. And I suppose, I understand the need to control pathogens in the water, and that's why the chlorine's in there, but there's no reason why you can't take it out when it lands at your house. Now, I've got one of your whole house water filter systems on my home, and when I go to somewhere that I got to shower in chlorine, it's like, whoa, it stinks. It's really, really obvious to me when you get used to it. not being there when you go to water that's not been filtered. It's like, whoa, well, I can really taste it. I can really feel it on my skin. It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
But with your pets, you want to have clean water, but not just clean, pure water. You want to have water that's alive. Now, the way water flows through the reticulation in our cities and all that sort of thing, it kills the water. The water's dead. If water flows through over the natural landscape with light and air and the moon and sun, but particularly whenever water flows through the landscape, there's vortexes created in the water all the way through the flow across the landscape. And that energizes the water. That brings the water to life. So that's one thing to do. And then if you go beyond that to structured water, it can be helpful to use fresh cold pressed juices and things like that, because you then get a whole different energetic and more energized water in that when it's coming out of, or you could also, for good quality grass-fed raw meats will have structured water in them, because that's part of the life processes in healthy animals and healthy plants.
Nice, well done. I must admit, I'm surprised by your knowledge on water and how you're trying to educate pet owners, etc., on the importance of water. This sort of information and knowledge is just not around much nowadays, especially for pets, but even for humans, So most people just sort of want to have a bit of filtration to make it taste better, and that's where it stays. But there is certainly a lot more. We follow Professor Polak from the USA a fair bit, and talks about the structure of water and how it's so important for optimum health. We do use Grander products here to restructure water, myself, my family, everyone in the business, etc. So I'm right behind you on the structure of the water. I see dogs and pets just drinking out of a puddle, especially here on the farm when I was a kid and things like that, rather than out of the tap. They've got a better sense than a human being? Is it something in that, do you feel?
I think our animals are more in alignment with their natural empathic and intuitive sensitivity. I think a lot of our education and technology takes us away from ourselves, that we lose that kind of primal sensitivity in our bodies and our sensory systems as humans. So yeah, mind you, I don't think I'd be wanting to drink from a muddy puddle either. So, but dogs also will eat things that have been dead for days and stink and roll in them and think it's the best perfume in the world. So, and yeah, I think dogs and animals, they do say if you're out with your horse and you go to a creek or something, you should always drink where they choose to drink, and that'll be the purest, cleanest water.
Interesting. Wow, well done. Okay. Also, thanks for that one. I also see you're promoting stainless steel drinking water bowls, so versus plastic. You recommend even to bless your pet's water. You suggest adding high quality water to pets' foods. So it's clear that you are really serious about helping animals and creating the best water that you can for as many pets as possible. So I really congratulate you on that. Do you have any other thoughts on the best water for pets?
Well, I think, like I said, you can use bottled spring waters, but they're in plastic. So you got a bit of a trade-off with just about any kind of water that you get in our civilized kind of systems and structures. I do have spring water that I drink, one of the big bottles you put on top of the dispenser thing. And there's a different quality of energy in water that comes from a spring, from the earth. And even though it's been harvested and filtered and put in a bottle, it's still got an energetic that the water that's gone through the town pipe and chlorination and all that, it's not as good. Mind you, the water that comes out of the tap with the system that I bought from you guys and have on the house, it's not that much different or worse than the spring water, but I kind of like the spring water. I think too that water is the ultimate solvent when you think about just the chemistry and the science of how water behaves. It dissolves and absorbs, and it's the condition of life on this planet, right? Water, and it also holds energy and consciousness. So the blessing thing, your water responds to you. If you express, a blessing for me is really just a refined sort of expression of gratitude and appreciation for
Yeah.
But water's a living substance. It's amazing. If you ever go out in the bush and you're in water that's totally pure and under a waterfall in a waterhole, there's a quality in that. Or if you go and get in the ocean, when I go in the ocean and have a surf, when I get out, it's like, oh, it's just really, really beautiful. So I think the more you can get beautiful, fresh, clean water, or the more you can, if you live in the city, get a filtration system. Don't just give your pets the chlorinated, kind of devitalized and dead water that comes out of the tap.
Absolutely. No, I'm hearing you loud and clear there. We see studies from around the world, scientists that find some water that's been just stored in a hole in a country and nobody's touched it. No industry has poisoned it. And it's like 40,000 times more energy than what they can find out of the city taps, So I certainly hear where you're coming from there. We do have a little saying at My Water Filter, even when we'll talk about water, suggesting it's really the first point of call for medicine because it just got all of these powers and things like that,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess just rolling on, I've been on your website. I was surprised by the note about 53% of our furry companions or pets can be suffering in pain. I had no idea of anything like that. I see you provide a hands-on silent pain assessment and the neurofacial bodywork and energy healing, and you provide a free 15-minute discovery call with pet owners. Do you want to just touch on that so anyone that's watching the video that's got any interest knows how to get in touch with you or what they can do to help out with their pet?
Yeah, sure. You can find me for more kind of veterinary stuff at thehealingvet.com. And then with the whole energy body balance work is really where we talk about the silent pain, hidden soft tissue pain. So soft tissue pain is really, really common in pets. And most pets don't tell you anything about it. They don't show you any signs. They don't whimper or cry out. They just seem to be okay. The only way that you can discover that kind of soft tissue pain in the body is when you start to feel into the body, and when you put pressure on a sore bit, they go, oh, it hurts there, and they can tell you how much it hurts. I also offer a free masterclass about silent pain in pets, which is about 90 minutes long, and then a follow-up practical hands-on session. So you can come through to either of those websites and contact us if you want to do that. Yeah.
Very good. No, that's great. And I see on one of the pages on your website there, you've even got a few links to some water filters if people want to have a look on there and learn about a bit of water for their pets, and they can click on there. Obviously, maybe it comes through to our website as well. So we're here to help anybody and anything like that. So if they mention your name or come through or whatever, we'll certainly be here to help out and do our best we can.
Yeah, look, I'm stoked with the filter system that I got from you guys. It's made living in the city a bit like was living out on the cattle property with spring-fed water, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what carbon can do to water, isn't it? It's a good block of carbon, just is a magnificent change. And all the chlorine gone, the smell's gone, and it certainly is a game changer. So that's great. Yeah. Okay, well, that's unreal. I think that we've had a great little chat there. Is there any other thoughts you can think of? Anything you want to get out to listeners that might help anyone that you can think off the top of your head before we close?
No, look, I think that silent pain thing's the main thing. Every second pet I see has significant soft tissue pain that the humans are really upset to find out they've got when I tell them. So if you want to make sure your pets don't have silent pain, come along to wholeenergybodybalance.com and you can sign up for our free silent pain masterclass on that site.
Beautiful. And I highly recommend people do that because, there's far too many medicines used nowadays. So if you can find someone like yourself, I think it's a great first point of call to drop in and see you. So jump on the website, folks, and have a look there and yell out if anyone can help in any way. And we're all good people here.
Good, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll say goodbye for now.
Okay. Thanks very much, Doctor. Appreciate you, sir.